Hot yoga, is it superheated exercise or a health danger? Proponents of Bikram yoga claim it improves their heart health and aids in weight loss. Some critics argue that there is no scientific proof to back up these claims. Bikram yoga, sometimes known as hot yoga, continues to attract both enthusiastic advocates and furious opponents. Despite a scandal that forced the originator of this kind of yoga to flee the United States, this method of practicing yoga in a heated room remains popular with a segment of yoga fans. More on that later. Overall, yoga is becoming more popular in the United States. According to a 2016 poll, 36 million Americans practice some type of yoga. This was an increase from 20.4 million in 2012. Women account for 72% of yoga practitioners. 43% of practitioners are between the ages of 30 and 49. There aren't exact figures on how many of these folks practice hot yoga, but those who do say they like working up a sweat. In a 90-minute session, a Bikram yoga class proceeds through a predetermined series of conventional postures in a room with an ambient temperature of 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, and 40% humidity. Many studios modify the formula to create their own forms of hot yoga. Yoga Shala in Portland, Oregon, on the other hand, does not have such a setting. Director Jody Kerala gladly refers prospective hot yoga students to another class down the block. Hot yoga is a contradiction in terms for the 25-year yoga practitioner. She told Healthline in 2015 that traditional yoga should be performed without excessive perspiration or raised heart rate. And the practice isn't about going to extremes. It's about paying attention to your body without distractions, she explained. The notion is that if you're sweating excessively, the workout is too strenuous. You can be mildly sweating, but if your breathing or heart rate begins to rise, you should stop. So putting oneself in a hot environment on purpose is not what yoga was supposed to achieve, she explained. You're meant to cultivate prana, or energy, rather than disperse it. She claims that hot yoga practitioners become hooked to the endorphins produced by their bodies in reaction to being pushed further than they wish to go. Yoga isn't about going to extremes, Kerala explained. As the Dalai Lama put it, the highs are extremely high, the lows are extremely low, and the medium is quite boring. However, with time, it becomes much more meaningful. According to hot yoga proponents, completing the activity in a warm environment strengthens the heart, clears up the veins, eliminates pollutants from the body, and stimulates the immune system. The heat causes the heart to beat quicker, providing a stronger cardiovascular exercise and burning more calories, according to supporters. They further point out that yoga originated in India, where the temperature is pleasant. They don't practice outside in the hot weather, Kerala responds. They practice in the morning before the sun rises and in the evening after it sets. In the 5,000-year history of yoga, yoga in a heated room is a fresh and disputed endeavor. A slew of recent scientific studies show that traditional yoga has the ability to reduce stress and blood pressure while also improving flexibility and balance. However, nothing is known about what occurs when yoga is moved inside a superheated environment. Safety concerns about hot yoga. A 2015 research released by the American Council on Exercise, ACE, expressed concerns regarding Bikram yoga. The study discovered that throughout a 90-minute hot yoga class, healthy volunteers' body temperatures constantly climbed. The subjects' temperatures reached 103 degrees, just shy of the 104-degree level considered harmful by experts. There is some fear that a person who is unfit or unfamiliar with Bikram may have some kind of heat sensitivity, said Cedric Bryant, Ph.D., Chief Science Officer of ACE. The American Council on Exercise suggests that newbies stick to traditional yoga or try hot yoga at a place that delivers it at a lower temperature. And previous ACE research, published in 2013, shows that hot yoga lessons at lower temperatures are not dangerous. However, if a hot yoga participant feels sick, lightheaded, or disoriented during a session, they should lie down or leave the room. If you're feeling out of sorts, you should employ some common sense, Bryant said. Allison Abel Rissell, a yoga instructor from North Dakota who published research on the health advantages of hot yoga as part of her PhD studies in exercise physiology, concurred. "It's hot in there," she told Healthline in 2015. "But as long as you're adequately hydrated, I believe it's a doable heat." However, many participants, according to Mindy Kaplan, a yoga instructor and a health fitness consultant accredited by the American College of Sports Medicine, do not ease into the higher temps. "There are Groupons out there saying you can try hot yoga, and it's generally someone who has never practiced yoga before who goes in there," she told Healthline in 2015. "They are dehydrated. They aren't in good shape." Kaplan tried Bikram briefly and does not recommend it for students. According to ACE and Canadian health organizations, pregnant women and persons with diabetes or any type of cardiovascular condition, including high blood pressure, should avoid hot yoga. Rissell has seen pregnant ladies in hot yoga courses, but she says they were used to it since they'd been doing it for years. People with prior medical concerns should consult with their doctor before commencing a hot yoga program to ensure they are not at a higher risk of consequences. When attending a hot yoga session, it's also critical to pay close attention to how your body feels. The Physician Network at Healthline recommends anybody experiencing ill effects while in a hot yoga session to quit immediately and seek medical attention. Bikram Yoga Instruction Style. The method of instruction, according to critics, is part of what distinguishes Bikram from other kinds of hot yoga. While most yoga sessions, including many hot classes, encourage students to go at their own speed, Bikram instructors frequently do not. Teachers taught at the Bikram Yoga College, according to detractors, follow a script. The script instructs them to push pupils to extend further into their positions and to stay in the room if they become overheated. Instructors would occasionally follow students out of the room in order to convince them to return. The educational technique has been compared to boot camp by some. Rissell, on the other hand, supported the instructor's attempts to retain pupils in the yoga class. "The idea is mindfulness," she explained, or encouraging kids to embrace their feelings rather than try to avoid them. Mindfulness can be useful in assisting people to cope with psychological pressures. However, Kaplan claims that the constant urgings of Bikram teachers make it impossible for some people to listen to their own bodies. "It's difficult to identify your boundaries when you're very much being told, 'This is how you do it, go deeper, she remarked. Hot yoga and weight loss. Still, according to Bryant, Bikram yoga isn't as deadly as, say, an early season football practice in Texas. The truth of the situation is that there are a significant number of Bikram participants, and it's not like the great majority of those folks are experiencing any problems, Bryant explained. Hot yoga's saving grace, he says, is that it's not too strenuous. The body can take light exercise in hot temperatures, but severe exercise, such as football, is too much. Nonetheless, the calorie content of hot yoga is one of its main selling factors. It's one of the reasons Rissell says hot yoga is her major method of exercise. This marketing point appears to be unsubstantiated. Hot yoga burns just approximately 500 calories in a 90-minute session, according to a series of studies, including one financed by the Bikram Yoga College, half of what some proponents and fitness apps claim. "I wouldn't recommend it as a strategy to increase calorie burn for weight reduction," Bryant added. "I believe that most practitioners would be profoundly disappointed if they went to it for that." In reality, according to a tiny research published in January 2018 trusted source, it is the postures and flexibility included in Bikram yoga that help the person, not the hot room. Stretching physical boundaries. Other students brave the sweat-soaked rooms of hot yoga because they feel more flexible in the heat. The judgment is still out on whether this flexibility is beneficial or dangerous. Critics such as Kaplan and Kurilla argue that the situation is ideal for damage since teachers encourage pupils to push themselves farther. Kaplan hurt herself while performing Bikram yoga. People don't listen to their bodies, and as a result, they damage themselves by overstretching. "I did, Bikram yoga, for about 3 months until I hurt myself, and I don't do that very frequently, and I knew it was because I overstretched, she explained. Rizzle, a hot yoga devotee, agreed that the heat improves flexibility. But, in her opinion, overstretching is just a case of going too far. If you overstretch in a Bikram class, you're going to overstretch in any class, she explained. Injuries do occur in all types of yoga, although they are often minor. Still, it appears that if there were a surge of accidents in hot yoga studios, as Bryant claims, news would get out. In the end, there is an added danger from the heat in super hot yoga, and there is no proof of advantages in hot yoga that are not present in normal yoga. According to Karen Sherman, PhD, mile per hour, a Group Health Research Institute researcher on alternative approaches to health. I do not suggest hot yoga to individuals looking for health benefits, Sherman told Healthline in 2015. Bryant stated that ACE's findings are consistent with Sherman's analysis, although ACE did not advise healthy individuals to avoid hot yoga. Why? There are just some folks who enjoy working out in that hot setting, he explained. That is something Karila would agree on. It's terrific if folks go out there and start moving and feeling better. If kids get out there and hurt themselves, that's an issue, she explained. People come to yoga for a variety of reasons, and they either discover it and stick with it, or they move on to the next thing. The scandal that shook up Bikram. The Bikram empire used to oversee 650 studios around the world. However, many of those studios have closed, particularly in the United States. The organization was once based in Los Angeles, but that office was purportedly closed down in 2016 when Indian-American yogi Bikram Chowdhury, the pioneer of hot yoga in the 1970s, relocated to India following a $7 million sexual harassment lawsuit. The claim was one of at least 6 legal proceedings launched against Chowdhury in recent years, all alleging assault or rape. The remaining Bikram studios are managed by Chowdhury's former attorney, who was handed control of the corporation by the courts. Some studios, such as Rise Hot Yoga in Los Angeles, do not use the term Bikram in their name, yet the label appears on some of their classes. It was once required that instructors be educated by the Bikram College of India. That teacher education is now taking place outside of the United States. The 2019 sessions will be held in Murcia, Spain. If you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel.